Welcome back, uplifting life partners, to Marriage Mastery Simplified, cultivating extraordinary connections, the podcast dedicated to helping you build a stronger, more joyful, and resilient marriage. I'm your host, Ron Simplified Myers. Let's ignite possibilities together. Well, this is our Marriage Builder Sunday episode, and today we're diving deep into the foundational elements that build truly resilient and joyful partnerships. We're tackling a topic that is absolutely crucial, yet often overlooked in the hustle of our daily lives. Honoring your partner's story, listening with empathy, and understanding their journey. It's a lot. See, when you first fell in love, you probably spent hours, even days, just talking, sharing, and learning everything about each other. You were fascinated by their past, their dreams, their fears. But as life gets busy, as routines set in, we often stop actively exploring who our partner is. We assume we know. We assume their story's fixed. But it's not. Our partners are constantly evolving, and their past experiences, their upbringing, their triumphs, and their challenges continue to shape who they are today and how they react to the world. So truly honoring their story isn't just about remembering certain episodes. It's about understanding the why behind their actions, their beliefs, and their emotions. It's about seeing them. Truly seeing them with empathy. So let's start with why your partner's story is so incredibly powerful and relevant to your marriage. It's the foundation of their identity. It's the sum of their experiences, lessons learned, and relationships formed. To understand them, you must understand the narrative they carry. This area inside of a relationship is why we created our clothing with the phrase, "It ain't right, it ain't wrong, it's my opinion." This is your partner's opportunity to share their views and their opinions. It gives insights to their blueprint for their reactions. Their past often dictates their present reactions. For example, someone who grew up in a chaotic household might crave stability, while someone from a very rigid environment might value freedom above all else. Understanding these roots help you to depersonalize conflict and respond with compassion instead of frustration. It gives you what's called a bird's eye view, an opportunity to have a broader view than just looking at things from a ground, narrow view level. Unlocking empathy. When you know the context of their life, it's much easier to step into their shoes. Empathy isn't just about feeling for them, it's understanding with them. It's saying, given what you've been through, I can see why you feel that way. Remember, you must be able to show empathy if you want empathy returned to you. Building deeper intimacy. There's a profound level of intimacy that comes from being truly known and understood. When your partner feels that you genuinely appreciate and respect their journey, even the parts that were difficult, it builds an unbreakable bond of trust and connection. Now, while on this topic, let me share my perspective on what intimacy looks like. You know that an iceberg, it shows about 10% of itself, and the other 90% is located underwater. Well, people are the same way. They share with you 10% of who they are, just enough information to make the relationship function. The 90%, the under the water events, that's the pains, the hurts, and the good times also, but they're life happenings that are not shared with the world. As a matter of fact, even the people you share the underwater events with, they're only given certain events. There are things that you will share with your partner that you will not share with your parents. There's things you'll share with your siblings that you wouldn't share with your friends. The depth of the events will determine the depth of that relationship. Now, I like to use my cousin and his military experience as a perfect example because most people, when they think of intimacy, the first thing that comes to their head is sex. They're different conversations. Well, my cousin served about 3 years in the military. He was about to get out. The military had offered him money to re-enlist. He said no. Then a few of his military family, they called and they talked about the fact that they were being sent to a certain country that the U.S. was having conflicts with at the time. He re-enlisted for a few more years. He said, I will die for my military family. That's intimacy. He probably has blood family that he would not die for. But he was willing to put his life on the line for people he didn't even know a few years ago. Why? The intimacy created by the battles they had gone through together. I share this to emphasize, if your partner feels you are there with them in your heart, even if you weren't there physically, as far as the events, it builds a deeper bond. How about preventing misunderstandings? So many marital conflicts stem from misunderstandings. We project our own experiences onto our partner, or we interpret their actions through our own lens. By understanding their story, we gain a new lens, their lens, which can clarify intentions and prevent unnecessary hurt. If you watch two people talk, you'll notice that it's very rare, and I mean very rare, that they actually talk and have a real conversation. In most instances, people not listening. They're not hearing what you're saying. They're waiting to share their perspective, and in a lot of cases, they're cutting you off. Check and see if you're doing that yourself. Because the better we get at listening with our heart and getting clarity with our partner, we can prevent misunderstandings and unnecessary conflict. So that brings us to, how do we actively honor their stories? It's more than just a nice idea. It requires intentional practice. Number one, active and empathetic listening. This is beyond hearing. This isn't just about hearing words. It's about understanding the emotion, the underlining message. No interruptions. Resist the urge to interrupt, offer solutions, or jump to conclusions. Let them finish their thought. This step is crucial because this is where battles begin. This is not the time to explain or try to justify. This is listening with your heart time. Man, am I talking to myself? Whew. Nonverbal cues. Pay attention to their body language, tone of voice, and facial expressions. These often convey more than the words. Reflective listening. This is a powerful technique. After they've shared, reflect back what you heard in your own words. So what I'm hearing is that you felt a certain way, the emotion, when an event happened, and that made you feel or react. This confirms understanding and makes them feel heard. Validate, don't fix. Often when someone shares their story, they're not looking for a solution, they're looking for validation, and that's in most cases. That sounds incredibly difficult. I can only imagine how they must have felt. If they are looking for a solution, they will let you know. Now, by no means am I saying this is easy to do, because most of us have never been trained in the art and skill of communication. Number two, asking open-ended questions. Curiosity, not interrogation. Instead of, did you finish what you needed to do? Try, what's the next step for you on that? And what support do you need? Instead of, are you mad about that? Try, can you tell me more about why that situation upsets you? Ask about their childhood, their family, their first jobs, significant friendships, moments of failure, moments of triumphs. Most of you have been with your partner for years and haven't done this. Try it. And here's some example questions. What was a defining moment in your childhood? Who was a significant mentor or role model for you, and why? What's a challenge you faced that really shaped who you are today? What's a dream you had as a kid that you still think about? How did your family handle conflict when you're growing up? Whoo, that one's huge. This one probably answers a lot of questions. Number three, connecting the past to the present. Once you've heard a piece of their story, try to connect it to current behaviors or feelings. I remember you mentioned that growing up, you always felt like you had to be strong for everyone. I wonder if that's why sometimes you struggle to ask for help now. Approach this gently as a question, curiosity, not an accusation. This shows you're not just listening, but you're understanding and integrating their story into your perception of them. Number 4, respecting their narrative. If you don't fully agree with their interpretation of an event, respect that it is their truth, their experience. Avoid minimizing their feelings or experiences. Oh, that wasn't so bad. Or you're overreacting. This shuts down communication. While the concept of honoring your partner's story sounds straightforward, there are common traps we fall into. Let's address those. Number 1, the I already know trap. Pitfall, assuming you know everything there is to know. We often think because we've been together for years, there's no new stories and no new insights. Not good. The solution? Approach every conversation with a beginner's mind. Assume there's always more to learn. People change, perspectives shift, and new layers of old stories can emerge. Ask again, even if you think you know the answer. Tell me about that time again. I want to hear from your perspective now. Number 2, the fix-it reflex. Pitfall? Your partner shares a painful memory, and your immediate instinct is to offer solutions, advice, or try to make them feel better by minimizing the pain. Your intentions are good, but here's a solution. Remember, listening is not problem solving. It's about connection. Your role is to be a witness, a compassionate presence. Say, that sounds incredibly hard. Or, I'm so sorry you went through that. Ask, is there anything you need from me right now? Or do you just want me to listen? Number 3, the one-upmanship or my story is worse trap. The pitfall? When your partner shares a challenge, you immediately jump in with a similar or worse experience of your own. The solution? This shifts the focus from them to you. While sharing your own vulnerability can be good at sometimes, when they're sharing their story, make it about them. Listen fully. Then perhaps later you can share a related experience if it feels appropriate and helpful, but not as a competition. Number 4, the judgmental listener trap. The pitfall. Hearing their story and silently or not so silently judging their choices, their reactions, or their family. Here's a solution. Suspend judgment. Remember that every person's journey is unique, and they did the best they could with the resources and the understanding they had at the time. Your role is to understand, not to critique. This doesn't mean you have to agree with everything, but you must respect their lived experience. Number 5, the interrogation trap, the pitfall. Firing off a rapid-fire series of questions that feels more like an interview than a conversation. The solution: make it a dialogue. Ask a question, then truly listen to the answer. Allow for silence. There's nothing wrong with silence. Share a little of yourself in response to their sharing. If it feels natural and it doesn't overshadow their story. It's important to remember that your partner's story, it isn't a finished book. It's an ongoing narrative. Present day stories. They're still creating their story today. Ask them about their day, their current challenges, their small victories, their present dreams. These are the new chapters. Future aspirations. What are their hopes for the future? What new chapters do they want to write? Supporting their aspirations is a huge part of honoring their evolving journey. Revisiting old stories. Sometimes an old story needs to be revisited. A past trauma might resurface, or a new perspective on an old event might emerge. Be open to re-listening, even to stories you've heard many times. The meaning or the feeling associated with it might have changed. Your shared story. While you honor their individual journey, you're also co-creating a shared story. Understanding their individual narratives helps you weave a stronger, more empathetic shared narrative together. It's like two rivers flowing into one. Each river has its own source and path, but together they form a powerful new current. So, how can we actively practice and improve our ability to honor our partner's story? Here's a few practical exercises you can try this week. Number one, the story prompt, date night. Set aside 30 to 60 minutes, just the two of you, without distractions. Take turns asking each other one open-ended question about your past or journey. Examples. Tell me about a time you felt truly proud of yourself. Or what's a childhood memory that still makes you smile or sad? The listener's only job is to listen. Ask clarifying questions like, can you tell me more about that? And validate, no advice, no interrupting. You can even set a timer for 5 to 7 minutes for each person to share, ensuring both get ample time. Number two, the emotional check-in ritual. At the end of each day, or a few times a week, create a space to share. Instead of, how was your day? Good. Okay. Try. What was the most challenging part of your day today? And how did it make you feel? Or what was a highlight? Or what made it special? This encourages deeper sharing about their current journey. Number three, my partner's story journaling. We talked about that. Hopefully you guys got a journal. If you don't, please get one. It's awesome. You'll appreciate it later. Take some time to reflect and write down what you know about your partner's story. Think about their childhood, their family, their significant life events, their dreams, their fears. As you write, identify any gaps in your knowledge. What do you not know? What do you want to understand better? This can also transform new conversations and get you on a stronger path. This isn't for them to read, but for you to organize your thoughts and identify areas for deeper connection. Number four, practice reflective listening and daily interactions. Even in small conversations, make an effort to reflect back what you hear. So you're saying you prefer to go to the park instead of the movie tonight. The simple act trains your brain to truly process what's being said before responding. The effort you put into honoring your partner's story yields incredible rewards for your marriage. Increased understanding. You'll simply understand each other better, reducing frustration and misinterpretation. Enhanced empathy. Your capacity for empathy will grow, making you a more compassionate and supportive partner. It'll create stronger emotional connection. Feeling truly seen and heard is a fundamental human need. When you meet this need for your partner, your emotional bond deepens profoundly. Greater trust and security. Knowing that you value their inner world, it builds immense trust and a sense of security in the relationship. They know they can be vulnerable with you, and you need that to make a relationship grow. More effective conflict resolution. When you understand the underlying reasons for their reactions, often rooted in their story, you can address conflicts from a place of compassion rather than defensiveness. A more fulfilling partnership. Ultimately, a marriage where both partners feel deeply known, understood, and honored is a marriage filled with greater joy, peace, and profound connection. It's truly an extraordinary connection. Sound familiar, huh? So for your marriage builder challenge this week, I hope I did the wink right. I encourage you to pick just one of these practices. Maybe it's the story prompt, the date night, or simply committing to active interruption-free listening for a specific conversation. Remember, honoring your partner's story is an ongoing act of love. It's about continuously seeking to understand the beautiful, complex, and ever-evolving person you've chosen to share your life with. I want to thank you for joining me today on Marriage Mastery Simplified. We'll be back next week for another Marriage Builder Sunday episode. Make sure you listen to Self Love Wednesday, though. And until then, keep building, keep loving, and keep mastering your marriage one intentional step at a time. For more exclusive training, deeper dives, behind the scenes content, our books, video series, and the Simplified Uplifters apparel, that's our online clothing store. Make sure you download the Simplified You app today. It's our one-stop shop for all of our resources. It's inside of Google Play or the Apple Store. It can be found again as Simplify You. The U stands for the Uplifters. So Simplify You, the letter U. Or you can use the website, simplifieduplifters.net. Again, that's a duplication of the app. And that site again is simplifieduplifters.net. We'd also appreciate you sharing this episode and the podcast itself with those that you know need to hear it. Thanks again for joining me on this transformative Marriage Builder Sunday. Until we reconnect, be kind to yourself, embrace your journey, and celebrate the incredible, authentic person you are. Most important, remember your power. You are extraordinary.